Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is ChessRabbitt, and today we're gonna do my last video I had. It was a 2000 rated loss. I played in 1993. This is gonna be a 2000 rated win. Now, in this tournament, I came in second, or was it third? I think I came in third. There was one opponent that was rated 2087, another opponent rated 18 something, and I was rated 1585 in this tournament. And there was like 8 people in the tournament, and I pretty much fell behind the 2000 rated player and the 1800 rated player, and everybody else was like 1400, 1300, stuff like that, or whatever, 1800. No, I think there was a couple of 1800s, and I think there was a, I don't know. I have to look at the tournament. Anyway, I came in second or third place, I believe, and this was played on chessworld.net. So shout out to King's Crusher. And on your site, I am rated, like I said, 1585 when I played this game. I played Never Say Never, all one word. Never Say Never. Got that from the James Bond. And this was the first online chess thing that I've ever joined. Was chessworld.net. I think it was called something else at first. And then they changed it to chessworld.net because, yeah, I think it was called something else, Chess World Live or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, the chessworld.net. Shout out to King's Crusher. Um, I played a guy. His name is quentinoregon, and he's rated 2087. And this was played. Well, this game finished. I don't know when it finished or started. Uh, December 20th, 2014. So it really wasn't that long ago. This was probably one of my best wins against a 2000 rated player. Like I said, the last game I showed you guys where I lost against a 21, 28, or whatever he was rated. But that was only 3 years into my chess career. Here is a little different. Like I said, when I play higher rated players, I play sort of differently than I do lower rated players. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that this was on Chess World. You can't play blitz games or live games. What you play is like these correspondence chess games. So I play a lot differently on those games. Also, I don't treat them like I should. What you should do really is after you get into the opening and you get out of opening book. After you developed all your pieces, you get out of opening book. You're into a position where you've never seen before. You're supposed to get a notepad, break out the old chessboard, and start analyzing the position. If I go here, if I go there, if I do this, if I do that, start developing plans, writing down notes, really analyzing a position. And if you do that, you probably become a very strong player, even a stronger player over the board. And that's what the one of the chess teachers on YouTube tells us. All Rats, National Master Bill Richards, I think that's his name, but he goes by the moniker of All Rats on YouTube and other places, and chess.com. And that's what he's pretty much saying. Just if you analyze your games and also analyze your games while you're playing correspondence chess, and I've also said this before in other videos, you should be a pretty strong player. Anyway, some positions I did analyze, others I didn't. I don't recall which ones I analyzed and which ones I didn't. I did write notes to this game because I don't know. For some reason, I do play higher rated level people better. Probably because I do step my game up a little bit for them, and lower rated players I don't. That's probably why I lose a lot against these 900 rated players, because I just move pieces pretty much. Don't even think. I just move pieces, blunder pawns all over the place. Anyway, we'll look at this game. This is not a very long game, so correspondence games are crazy like that. They're not really over the board games, so my play here, it won't be exactly like it would be over the board. Although I try to play like I do over the board, but you seem to get into some really crazy positions when you're playing correspondence chess because your opponent plays crazy positions. And after you look at these games, they sort of look like computer games a little bit. You know how computers are all over the place. They're over here, they're over there, they're doing prophylactic moves over here, and then they're doing attacking moves over there. They're attacking on the queen side, but they're moving all their king side pieces. or vice versa. They're attacking on the king side, but they're moving all the queen side pieces and things like that. And this is what sort of correspondence games looks like to me. They don't look fluent like if you look at over the board games between grandmasters, you sort of can follow what they're doing, and you sort of can know what they're doing. And to me, I've been studying grandmaster games really for a long time, so I pretty much can understand their games. But when you get into these correspondence like games, the games be all over the place, and I think this is one of them. I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked at this game since then, so I have no idea. This is the first time I'm going to be looking at this game with you guys, so I don't know if this game is going to be all over the board or not. I don't know. I do know that one of these nights, is going to play Havoc with this guy, and this is how I won the game, pretty much, because I saw a couple of night forks, and I went for them. And I'll give you guys some hints on night forks in a minute. Okay, well, not in a minute, but Anyway, let's start the game off. I'm going to start with right since I played white here. Like I said, I'm Neversaynever on chessworld.net. So if you guys want to challenge me to a game, you can. I am rated 1585 at this juncture in this tournament, and my opponent was rated 2087. D5, C4, C6, knight C3, bishop F5, knight F3, E6, bishop F4, getting my bishop on the outside of the pawn chain. Opponent plays bishop B6. He probably could have continued knight F6, queen B3, queen B6, exchange. Then I would have taken on D5. Knight takes D5, knight takes D5, E5, knight H4, attacking the bishop, and the bishop would probably go back to E6 or whatever. That's a possible line, a continuation. We're at a book now, but he's attacking my bishop. So a bishop for a bishop trade is good, especially against higher rated players, because these higher rated players love bishops. So now that they don't have the bishop pair anymore, why did he decide to trade bishops? I don't know. Maybe because he looked at my rating and said, if I can get rid of his bishop. But I'm not really a bishop guy. That's probably why I'm not a grandmaster. I'm more of a knight guy. Because I don't know how to use the two bishops. I'm studying a couple of books that has specific chapters on the two bishops. But, a knight and bishop to me, yeah, that's why I'm not a grandmaster. Grandmasters love the two bishops. I mean, a bishop can only cover half the board, whereas where a knight can cover the whole board. But a knight makes these short little moves, and bishops can make long range moves. So it really all depends on the position. Since this position is closed, I don't mind trading off the bishops, and it's still early in the game, so you have no idea whether you're going to need the bishops or knight anyway. But anyway, that's beyond what I'm talking about. Who cares? Frankly. Knight F6, bishop B3, queen B4. Look, he's moving his queen so early in the game. All of my mix, he's on the other side of this little frontier line here. And I don't like that. And I get rid of the other bishop. Bishop takes F5, which I think was a good move. I mean, it is. Queen takes B2. Now, he's really all up in here, isn't he? He's just all up in here. Just all up in here. Probably could trap this queen. But I don't think I get that lucky to trap the queen. Queen C1. So yeah, I would trade the queen. I don't think I could trap it. Queen takes C1. Rook takes C1. E takes F5. C takes D5. C takes D5. And knight takes D5. I think what happens here is that what you're seeing here is a lot of exchanges. I didn't really look at like a square like in the last game. I had a square here and a square here. There's a lot of exchanges, a lot of pieces that were being exchanged. Knight C6. So again, it's probably want to castle and connect his rooks. That's why he moved to knight C6, because this is a piece that wasn't developed yet. Of course, I figured if I come here, take his knight, he would have to take with a pawn, and he would have triple pawns over here. So that's pretty much my next move was to take, which is why I don't understand why he didn't take. Or win another route, or win another move altogether. Anyway, I take knight L6 and G takes C6. Now I figured I can play against these three pawns here. Double pawns is one thing, but triple pawns is something else. So I figured if I could play against these three pawns and look at my pawn structure, and I also have control of this open file here, that I pretty much can win this game. And neither one of us has castled yet. And I can pretty much win this game from here, even though my opponent is rated much higher than me, 500 points higher than me. I could still, well, 400, like more than 450 points. Anyway, I can win this game because I'm controlling the open file. I have a better pawn structure. He has triple isolated pawns here, and well, that's just a positionally won game. To me, instead of taking knight f6, the computer suggests, of course, knight c7 check, winning the rook in the corner. This is one of those times where, like I said, I didn't see this move. I was looking at this move and having this pawn here and those pawns being tripled. So even in correspondence chess, where you look at a position and you have a completely winning game here, you look at a position sort of like in the last game where I didn't put a trigger on a knight f6 check. Here, I didn't even really consider this move, knight c7, because I was pretty much looking at these triple pawns here. Is what I was looking at. I was looking at the triple pawns. So lots of times when you miss moves, it's because you're thinking of one thing in your plan. You're not looking at the whole picture. You're not looking at what's the best move in this position. You're pretty much following your plan. So that's what happens here. I was following my plan, and instead of looking at the great move and taking that rook in the corner. Anyway, I castle, he castles, rook c5, preparing to double on the c file. f4, getting rid of one of his bad pawns. e4, I push because I want these pawns on the board, and I can take them later at my leisure, and I want them on the board now. So this knight can move around and pick them off, or the rooks can pick them off, but I want them on the board for right now. Knight c7, d5, pretty much doing a prophylactic move so he can't come back to c6, and his knight can't move to e5. So his knight would have to come over here. So his knight now, so anyway, his knight can't move back to c6 because the pawn is protecting it. He can't come down to f5. So he has only a couple of moves, and that's on g6 and c8. So that's why I played the move d5 there. Rook f8. I have no idea why my opponent played that. You would have to ask him. I don't know. Knight d4. Bringing my knight a little closer. I don't know if I was planning on moving my knight to this square, the f5 square, to attack this knight or to trade pieces, or was it to come over here and get this fork? I don't know. But I do know that this knight needs to come into the game. So I don't know exactly why I played this move, since I don't have the notes to it either. Maybe I should go back on the website and see why I played this move. Let's go back and see. Why did I play that move? Because I probably could have easily just doubled rooks here. Or, well, I could have played rook f c1, doubling the rooks on the c file, or rook b1 to attack this pawn here. I could have played either one of those moves, but I played knight d4. Well, the knight Well, I had to play knight d4 because from this square the knight can't go to e5 and it can't go to f5. So d4 would be a good square to try to come here and, like I said, go there to get the fork on those. So that's probably why I played the move, was to fork the two rooks. That's the only reason why I can possibly think of playing d4, because I want to fork those rooks. So yeah, that's the only reason why I could see. So perfect likely he played a6, so now I can't come here to fork the rooks. f3. So I have a nice little pawn chain. Whenever you can, if you advance your pawns like that, just get another pawn to solicit this. And since there's no bishops here, I can't, there's nothing that can go along this diagonal and check my king right now. So this knight is a long way from the king, so I'm not really worried about my king right now. Knight g6. So like I said, his knight could either go to c8 or g6. So his knight decides to go to g6. Now his knight from there could go to e5 and be centralized and pretty much be a good knight again. Rook b1, like I said, I could either go rook f, c1, or go to b1 to attack this pawn. So your rooks don't really have to be one to another joined like this. If you can have rooks on two different files attacking and doing things like that, you're better off doing that type of play. But if your rooks are coordinated like this, that's good too. So it really all depends on the position. But most of the time you want your rooks coordinated and connected like this. b5, so now I'll probably play, okay, attacking this pawn. Well, or preparing to double up on the c file because this rook now is protected by this pawn. Rook e c8, rook takes f6. Rook c4, that probably was a mistake, wasn't it? Knight c6. So now my knight is on a good square. It can't be moved right here. If my opponent goes knight d5, I can just take, so he won't do that. So yeah, that was a good move. Rook f4, and now I can also control the C file again, because I like to control files. b2, protecting the a2 rook. c8. Here my opponent probably should have went back to c4, but my opponent played rook c8, and this is the beginning of the end for my opponent. See, I'm going to pause the video here. Pause the video and see if you guys can spot the good move here. This is one of those times where I actually felt that I had a winning position. And like I said before, sometimes I can feel a winning position, sometimes I can't. This is one of those times where I felt a winning position. Right now, the position materially and things like that is pretty even. But since my opponent played rook c8, it was a mistake. I felt that, and I actually analyzed this position and I looked at it deeply and see if you can come up with the winning move. So I pause the video. I'll give you a couple seconds. See if you can come up with the winning move. Pause the video. Okay, now that you're back, I hope you all seen this, that you can actually win this piece. Rook g6 check. Okay. Now, if you're playing rook d6 check, you're going to have to take back with one of these pieces or move the king. Okay. F takes g6, and now Mr. Knight here can fork him. Knight e7 check. Now, the reason why I say this is a move because I saw this move. Couple moves back, I saw this move. This knight can fork this king and rook. So, which way to do that? Which is the best way to do that? So by taking the knight with your rook here, if for some reason my opponent moves his king, then I would just move my rook back, and we would have a piece. So I would win a knight. But as it turns out, not only did I win this knight, I saw the fork, but I saw the fork, but also I couldn't move my knight to the square right now because my opponent could cover that square. So the tactic that I used was called deflection. So that's what I did. And I checked, grabbed that pawn. Then my opponent plays rook c4. Now, he should have played this move a couple moves ago. But now, judging by what we just seen, see if you guys can spot another good move. Give you 10 seconds to pause the video. Okay, now that you guys are back, I hope you saw the move. Knight d6 check. Again, forking the king and rook. And thereby winning the game. So my opponent resigned here. So, like I said, the knight was pretty much a real forking piece. He pretty much did, he really forked and I won this game. Now, coincidentally, in the same tournament where I had the black pieces, I lost that game against him. I might share that with you. It's a lot longer than 29 moves. This was a fairly short game because my opponent made a couple of mistakes. But, thank goodness he did make some of those mistakes. Anyway, that's my win against a 2,000 rated opponent. Last time you saw a loss against a 2,000 rated opponent. And they were both good games. So I'd like to thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is ChessRabbitt saying arrivederci. Whatever that means. I think that means goodbye, doesn't it? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye. Arrivederci. Sayonara. Dankeschön. That's German for thank you. I didn't know that before, but I know now. Danke. Thank you. Okay. Goodbye. Chess Master. Oh, not Chess Master. I'm not a master. That's why I'm called ChessRabbitt. Because the ChessRabbitt is a non-master chess player. Anyway, ChessRabbitt out.
Play chess with ChessRabbitt.